and all that existed to her. But her efforts had failed. The Master Rune itself was broken, and at that time the one true world had shattered, splintering into 1,000 shadow worlds, each but a dim reflection of the perfect world that had been. With its destruction, the knowledge of the Master Rune was lost. Long had Askaroth believed that reality was like a shattered crystal, each shadow world a shard of what had been, and one of those shards would still know the shape of the Master Rune. Now they had found that shard, and with the knowledge the Master Rune could be rebuilt. The shadow worlds could be bound in one, all worlds colliding to make a perfect whole.
"He will seek to bind the worlds," Shadowath said.
Both Shadowath and Askaroth had amassed a wealth of knowledge about magic, but neither knew the key to binding the worlds, to bringing forth the restoration.
"Then we must make sure that he is under our sway," Askaroth said. "After his birth, it will take time before he fully awakens to his power. The Torchbearer will be vulnerable."
"Then we should plant the seeds of his destruction now," Shadowath said. "You know what to do. Open a gate to his world, and I will bring my armies and join you."
Askaroth smiled. Shadowath's resources were unbounded, her cunning unsurpassed, her cruelty inspired. Compared to her, the monster Scapane, who had lost against the Earth King, was but a worm. She had defeated the Torchbearer countless times before. She would defeat him one last time, in this, the most desperate of contests. For this time it was not a single world that hung in the balance, it was all creation.
"An open gate awaits you,"
Askaroth said, and he showed her a vision of a tiny village, burned to slag there among the woods. Chimneys of blackened stone were all that was left of the houses. On a patch of ashes among ash-covered bones, green flames glowed, creeping along the ground. At that moment the Earth King Gaborn Valorden was taking a late meal. He set down his wine goblet and felt vaguely disturbed. He tilted his head as if listening. He felt something, a keen sense of danger that prickled the hair on his scalp. But it was distant, in the future, and it was not targeted at a certain person. It was diffuse and vast. It was an evil large enough to lay waste to an entire world. 1. Perfecting the Darkness.
"No one can truly be called a man so long as he basks in the light of his father and mother. For until we are forced to stand alone, we never know the measure of strength that abides within us. And once a boy's father dies, he cannot be called a child any longer."
The Wizard Binisman. This was the face of the Earth King. Skin the shade of dark green oak leaves, fading in the fall, old man's hair of silver webs, a sorrowful face as full of furrows as the rind of a rotting apple, and green-black eyes that were wild, hunted like the eyes of a stag in the forest. That is how Fallion, at the age of 9, remembered his father, a father he had not seen now for 3 years. Strange, then, that on an autumn evening as Fallion rode on a mountain track outside Castle Courm, with his younger brother Jazz and Hearthmaster Waggot beside him, and a small contingent of guards bristling front and back, the image of his father should intrude so heavily on Fallion's mind.
"Time to turn back,"
the point guard, a woman named Demora, said in a thick accent.
"I smell evil."
She nodded to her right, up a hill where fences of stacked grey stones parceled out some cowherds' lands and formed a dam that held back the leaning pine forests of the mountains above. There, at the edge of the forest, rose a pair of barrows, houses for the dead. In a swiftly falling darkness, the shadows under the trees were black, and above the mountain hovered a haze, purple and green like a bruise in the sky. Strange lights flashed among the gauzy clouds as if from distant lightning. Fallion's personal guard, Sir Borenson, laughed and said, "You don't smell evil. It's a storm."